Hi, welcome back. You're watching Halftime Report. Now, the company in focus is NMDC. They have been asked to pay a proposed 22.5% additional premium on the dollar malai sales volumes. Nigel, who was with me, has now gone on to have a quick chat with Sumit Deb, the CMD of NMDC. Nigel, over to you.
Well, Mr. Deb, first up though, we wanted to talk about this 22% premium that's going to be levied on the Donamalai mines once it resumes. Give us a sense in terms of your take on it. Have you had any further discussions from there? Is there a plea to bring down this 22.5% to maybe around 15% odd? Your take on this?
This is a decision which the Mines Ministry will have to notify in their with regard to the change in the Act. So this will have to be amended, the Act has to be amended, and this will be notified by the Mines Ministry to the extent, whether it is 22.5 or more or less. So this is a final decision that has to be taken by the Mines Ministry on this.
All right, Mr. Deb, I wanted from your understanding, what do you think about it? This 22.5% has been proposed on the Donamalai mines, but it's also been said that it's likely to be levied retrospectively. Now, your Chhattisgarh mines were renewed earlier this year. So does it fall in this particular bracket? Will NMDC's Chhattisgarh mines as well will have to pay nearly around 22.5%? And also you have the Kumaraswamy mines. That comes in for renewal in 2022. So does that one as well fall under this 22.5% odd? What is your understanding, sir?
If the Act is amended and there is a policy decision on this, then obviously all the mines do get affected.
Okay, all right. So as of what you understand right now, the Act is likely to get amended, and if that is the case, then it will be to all the produce that comes out from all your mines. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, exactly. And it is not only an NMDC, all other grants or allocations which have happened will get affected.
Oh, this is an important point you're making. So it's not just restricted to NMDC. You're saying other public sector units as well, maybe the likes of SAIL, Hindustan Copper, MOIL, all of them, when their mines come for renewal, they'll also have to pay this 22.5%. Is that what your understanding is, sir?
The number is not exactly 22.5%, but it will depend on how the Act is amended or what is the policy decision which is taken. So based on that, it will be there. But then there will be some sort of a number on that.
But as of now, it's 22.5%, right? Is there some range we need to work with? Because we understand for Donamalai at least it's 22.5%, and if it's going to be retrospectively, then it's going to be 22.5%. Give us further clarity, sir. If it's not 22.5%, then what's that number?
See, it is like this, that a committee is going to decide this whole thing. So I can't exactly right now tell you what is going to be the number. So the committee takes a call on this whole process, how it goes about.
Okay, all right. Mr. Deb, then, if this 22.5% premium has to be paid by NMDC, do you believe that it can be passed through to buyers, or does NMDC, what do price increase? Is that possible?
This is not a pass-through actually. I mean, if you look at this whole process, it's not a pass-through.
So NMDC then takes this hit of around 22.5%. Is that correct, sir?
It would be.
All right. So that's going to be a bit of a dent then. Mr. Deb, you're making some very, very valid points out here. There's likely to be an amendment in terms of the MMDR Act. If that happens, NMDC will have to pay 22.5% on all the mines, on all the produce that comes out from NMDC's mines, and it's not a pass-through. So NMDC, well, that's good clarity you've given us, Mr. Deb. But let's talk about the other big factor that happened in the last few days, the demerger of the steel plant. Give us some details. When exactly does this happen? What is the timeline for this this particular deal? And also, is there any opposition coming in, maybe from the Chhattisgarh government, from some of your labor unions? Did you all receive any kind of, any kind of protest?
At this present point of time, there has been no protest, but we expect some sort of resistance, obviously, with regard to the demerger process which is taking place. The time probably around 6 to 9 is the appointment of the so then going forward, probably the government of India has to take a decision.
Okay, all right. give us the best case and the worst case scenario in terms of when does the steel plant get commissioned. I've been hearing for last more than a year that yes, the steel plant will get commissioned in fiscal year 19, fiscal year 20, fiscal year 21. Now unfortunately we are in this entire this situation that's impacted the entire globe, the COVID-19 pandemic. But according to you, for the steel plant to get commissioned, and also what is the additional money you have to put on the table? I believe you've already put nearly around 17,000 crores.
See, what happens is that we were planning to commission the steel plant in this year, in financial year, probably around June, July was our target date, and we were progressing in this direction. But with this COVID-19 thing and with the issue of migrant labor and then the foreign exports who are supposed to be coming in with commissioning, plus our spare parts, some foreign, we have to import some spare parts. So these are all things which have affected our timelines, and we hope that now fresh timelines are next year. So by June or July 21, we hope to commission the plant.
June, July 2021, that's the guidance you're giving us, Mr. Deb, so we'll hold on to that number. Give us a lot of details then in terms of the core business. Now, some part of the market believes that NMDC can go ahead and increase prices. Do you believe that's the case? Give us a differential of NMDC's prices, and also what is the difference with, say, Odisha miners? And do you believe you can go ahead and increase prices?
See, on prices, the markets will have to go as per the markets. So this is something which an often decision can't be taken. We look at various factors while deciding on the prices. And obviously the capacity of the steel producers to accept the price increase. So we do believe that the markets are doing well. So let us see as and when we go forward how it goes.
Difference between NMDC's prices and Odisha miners' prices, what's the difference currently?
Yeah, more or less similar, and though there is no connection between the Odisha miners and our prices, so we price it on our customer base is also different. So there is hardly any connection between the Odisha prices and our prices. Though we also look at the prices, so more or less similar. Yeah, that's similar.
Okay, all right. So more or less similar out there. Give us a sense in terms of what is the volumes that you're going to be targeting for FY21. For the first quarter, you've given a degrowth of close to 28%. That's an expected lines because the entire globe, the entire country was virtually came to a standstill. But last year you did around 31.5 million tons. For this year, do you believe you can get closer to that number?
Yes, absolutely. And that is the number we are targeting, and we hope to do that. Around 32 million tons is what, at least that's the minimum we would intend to do.
Pleasure talking to you, Mr. Dev. Wishing you all the best for the remainder of this fiscal. There are plenty of things to track here in terms of NMDC. What's going to happen with this 22.5% premium that's likely to be levied if the MMDR Act is amended. Also in terms of the steel plant demerger and commission, that's something we'll be looking out for. And and the management, that's Mr. Dev, is rather optimistic that for this year they can do nearly around 32 million tons odd. Well, that would mean a flattish volume number in FY21 that compares with FY20.
Nigel, thanks very much for that interesting interview. Quickly, let's take stock of what's happening in Europe because our own market may be seeing cuts, but the European markets are opening on the higher side today.